bean, senor? It's so funny. That's very laid back about that stuff. So that's one of the reasons I don't mind the demographic changes that have happened in LA. But you go back to 1980 to 84, Hamilton High, and that's the crack epidemic. That's the Bloods versus Crips. That is when Hamilton was not the musical theater, it's the magnet school.
Yeah.
It was just a school nobody wanted to go to, but I loved it. I had a great time there. I never had a problem at all. So getting punched in the nose, getting back to Irv Rubin, getting punched in the nose that day in 1991 was the first time anyone had ever laid hands on me in that way, and I was proud of it. So when I see these people on X going, they ruined David Cole's life, they chased him into hiding. So no, they bopped me in the nose, and I was fine. And then about
Jeez.
3 years later, I got punched one more time. This time leaving a scar right over this eye. It bled a little bit. It was less fun than the first time. But
Who punched you?
Someone who had seen my picture on that newfangled internet thing in 1994. That there's this internet thing going on. The JDL had been putting my picture out there and saying that they wanted me beaten up, and somebody did. I will tell you, if you would ask me to describe them, all I saw was a fucking fist coming at me. It was nighttime, and somebody just sucker punched me.
Was it a Jew?
The only thing I remember is it was certainly a person with olive skin and dark hair. Possibly.
Oh, those damn Sephardics, man! You got to be careful with them.
But
yeah, it wasn't an Ashkenazi this time.
I was actually out cold for just a few seconds, and yet even in those few seconds, I dreamed. I didn't realize you actually dream when you're unconscious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you do.
So just
in there.
Yeah, for the brief time I was out, I dreamed I was in the movie Jaws 2. And then I'm like, no sharks.
Well, that sucks.
So that was the first two times. Punched one time at the end of 1991, punched a second time by someone I don't know in Thanksgiving 94. And then that year, 94, I left Holocaust revisionism because I saw that it was becoming Holocaust denial. Revisionism is an entirely different thing than denial. Denial is what you mentioned, Andrew, about Red Cross report, 300,000. And I do want to say, since you brought that up, quick tangent. The Red Cross report is only Western Front camps. There's so much ignorance about World War II among Holocaust deniers. They don't realize it was a two-front war. If you only take the casualties of the Western Front, World War II was like a easy peasy, like no one died, like a couple 100,000. I mean, all around, not just Jews, soldiers too. Like Western Front, World War II would be one of the least casualty wars ever. You take the Eastern Front, that's where everyone died. Russian soldiers, German soldiers, Russian civilians, Polish civilians, and Jews, and Ukrainians, and everybody. Deniers, because they don't understand that it's a two-front war, because they never read a book their damn life. They've never read a single World War II book. So when they see the Red Cross report that only deals with the work camps, the labor camps that the Red Cross had access to on the Western Front, Red Cross had no access to anything on the Eastern Front. The Eastern Front was where everybody was slaughtering everybody. Wow. You got the majority of World War II deaths, 40 million deaths, were just Eastern Front. So the ridiculousness, the absolute ignorance of the people who only post things from the Western Front and say, well, there's all the casualties right there. It angers me. And everything that, whenever I encounter one of these denier morons on X, I always say, read a book. For fuck's sake, read a book before you can't revise something if you don't know what the standard story is. So again, that Red Cross report does not have any of the Eastern Front camps in it. and it is the Eastern Front camps where all the killing took place, same way as the battlefields, the Eastern Front battlefields, where all the killing took place. Generally, the fighting on the Western Front was fairly civilized. I mean, at the end of the war, of course, there was a lot of bombing of Germany, and that was terrible. But I'm just talking about during the bulk of the war. When the Germans invaded Denmark, they called it a soft occupation, where they saw the Danes as brothers, and they didn't want to really make it a bad occupation. So like, you're going to invade, but go about your lives. Oh, go. Somehow my German sounds Jewish. I'm a man of limited impression.
Yeah, same.
The Germans were generally civil to the French, to the Danes, less so to the Dutch. But then again, who doesn't hate the Dutch? I mean,
agreed.
Right. I mean, it's you have to.
It's innate.
Reasonable.
So to finish up that point that you brought up, Andrew, and then the third thing that happened so I left revisionism in 1994. I said, these guys, I had uncovered a Nazi gas chamber in France that had been used during the war. And at the same time, David Irving, the historian, far senior to me at that point, but he had authenticated the diary of Joseph Goebbels. And in the diary, Goebbels says, oh yeah, we're killing Jews, liquidating 60% of them are going to have to be killed because they can't work, they can't labor. And the response from the revisionist community to those two things, David Irving authenticating, because David Irving's one of the few people in the world who can authenticate a Nazi signature. Is that a real Hitler or is that a fake Hitler? Is that a real Goebbels? Is that a fake Goebbels? David Irving authenticates the Goebbels diary, and in one of my trips to Europe, I find an actual gas chamber that was used by the Nazis to kill Jews. And the revisionists were like, let's not talk about that. And I'm like, what else should we be talking about? If we're supposed to be historians, big-ass historians, we should be talking about all of this stuff. And when I realized that there was such reluctance to deal with evidence that went against their extreme, just like there was reluctance on the ADL and Simon Wiesenthal side to deal with their extreme, anything that challenges their extreme, I said, okay, I'm out. And in late 94, early 1995, I said, I'm out, I'm gone. I had better things to do. I was a young man. I still had a libido. I still enjoyed the company of women. Lord, I miss them days.